Advance the standards! Hold formation! Push forward, men!
Dock workers shouted in 3 languages at once. Bronze prows gleamed like rising suns along the waterline. Above it all stood General Hanno Barca, cloak pinned at one shoulder, staring across the western sea. Rome was still small, still confident, still unready. That would not last long. Delay is defeat, Hanno said quietly. We sail before the Romans learn to fear the tide. His officers already knew the plan. Carthage would not wait for Rome to become a giant. Carthage would strike while Rome was still stretching its legs. No long wars of attrition. No defensive waiting. Speed, pressure, isolation. Stop Rome early or be crushed later. The fleet slipped from port before sunrise. No war horns, no banners, just the hush of coordinated movement. Carthaginian quinqueremes cut through the sea in disciplined formation, heavy with Libyan infantry, Balearic slingers, and hardened African spearmen. Hanno stood at the prow of the flagship. He did not look back. Rome's strength was not its armies, not yet. Its strength was time, allies, growth, momentum. Every season allowed Rome to harden like cooling iron. So Carthage would not give Rome seasons. The target was Sicily, the key that locked the western Mediterranean. Whoever held the island could strangle the other's trade, movements, and expansion. Take Sicily. Hanno had told the council, and Rome becomes a city. Leave Sicily, and Rome becomes destiny. The waves answered with steady rhythm. The landing was swift. Carthaginian forces secured western Sicily before Roman commanders even agreed on a response. Local settlements were offered protection, not destruction. Grain stores were guarded. Trade resumed immediately. This was deliberate. Hanno understood something many generals missed. Fear wins battles, but stability wins wars. Roman scouts arrived weeks later, expecting resistance. Instead, they found a disciplined army already fortified, supplied, and recruiting from local populations. Rome had expected chaos. Carthage offered order. When the first Roman army attempted a landing, they were met not by a desperate defense, but by prepared formations, waiting on elevated ground. Slingers rained stones in precise arcs. Cavalry flanked without pursuit. The Roman advance slowed, stalled, and withdrew. Not destroyed, just denied. Hanno refused reckless victories. His goal was not glory. It was suffocation. With Sicily secured, most generals would consolidate. Hanno did the opposite. A second fleet departed. Carthage under night skies, bound for southern Italy. Not a full invasion, a disruption. A wound meant to divide. Rome's attention. They struck lightly defended coastal settlements, dismantled recruitment centers, and vanished before Roman legions could assemble. Supply lines frayed. Communications faltered. Rome had two fronts before it had one unified strategy, and confusion is more dangerous than defeat. Roman commanders began arguing in their councils. Defend Italy, retake Sicily, or build strength first. Every option required time. Carthage denied them time. Months passed. Neither side claimed a decisive battlefield victory. Yet the balance of power had shifted quietly. Trade flowed through Carthaginian ports. Mercenaries joined willingly. Sicilian resources fueled steady expansion. Roman armies marched often, but always reacting, never initiating. Hanno's doctrine was simple. 1. Never fight Rome, where Rome is strongest. 2. Force Rome to split its focus. 3. Turn every victory into infrastructure. Fortifications rose along strategic passes. Harbors were expanded. Roads improved troop movement between newly secured regions. Rome was fighting a war. Carthage was building a system. And systems outlast battles. Eventually Rome adapted. A large consular army landed in Sicily with discipline and coordination unseen before. Their formations advanced methodically, shields locked, standards raised high. This was the moment many feared. If Rome established a foothold now, momentum could reverse. Hanno gathered his officers under torchlight. No reckless charges, he said. No heroic stands. We win by position, not passion. The battlefield chosen was uneven ground bordered by rocky rises. Roman infantry pushed forward steadily until their formation stretched. Carthaginian cavalry harassed the flanks, never committing fully. Slingers targeted officers and signalers, disrupting command cohesion. The Roman advance slowed into hesitation. Then African infantry advanced in disciplined waves, not to crush, but to compress, pressure without chaos. Contact without overextension. By sunset, the Roman army withdrew in order, but withdrew nonetheless. The message was clear. Rome could not advance cheaply, and expensive wars drain republics. Years into the campaign, observers began noticing something remarkable. Rome still possessed manpower, still raised armies, still marched with determination. But every movement required response to Carthaginian positioning. Carthage controlled Sicily. Carthage controlled western trade routes. Carthage maintained naval superiority. Carthage forced Rome to defend multiple regions simultaneously. Rome had not been conquered. Rome had been contained, and containment, Hanno believed, was the true victory. One evening, a young officer asked Hanno a question many had wondered. "General, why strike so early? Why not grow stronger first?" Hanno watched ships drifting across the harbor, their lanterns reflecting on dark water. "Because Rome grows faster than fear," he replied. He continued, "If we wait, Rome becomes inevitable. If we strike early, Rome becomes optional." The officer considered this. War, he realized, was not merely conflict. It was timing. History would remember the campaign not for grand battles, but for something rarer, a war decided by temper. Rome had not fallen, but Rome had been prevented, and in the quiet years that followed, merchants spoke of a western sea where Carthage set the rhythm of trade, movement, and power, not through conquest alone, but through the courage to act before destiny hardened. Hanno Barca's legacy was not a battlefield. It was a moment, seized early, when the future was still flexible, and he bent it.